So I'm going to make a video here real quick showing what happens when my 185 grain 9mm hollow points hit a solid target. They're the heaviest 9mm bullets on the market. There's no 9mm bullet heavier than these at this point in time. I'm going to try to show you what they look like if the camera will focus. This is what happens after they hit something solid. See if the camera will focus. They would definitely leave a damaging wound cavity inside the human body if they hit tissue. So let's get something straightened out. There's a lot of people saying that these 9mm bolts are bad for self-defense. They don't do what they're supposed to. They don't flower. They just stay in their solid form. And I'm sure there's some rounds that hit a target and they do. But the ones that I shot that I recovered, as you just saw, they flowered, they opened up, and they would have left one hell of a wound cavity inside a human body if they hit tissue. I'll show you what the bullets look like. This is what they look like. 185 grain 9mm hollow point bullets, jacketed. Focus, you stupid phone. As you see, that's what the bullet looks like. It's bigger than a normal 9mm bullet, but it fits in the magazines and fires out of a 9mm barrel, so they make it work. And this is what they look like after they hit something solid. They would definitely do some fucking damage. They're great for self-defense. In my opinion, they're the best 9mm bullets for self-defense because of how hard-hitting they are. Obviously, they're not going to do much against somebody with a vest, but if somebody comes in and doesn't have a vest and you have to hit them with some lead, this is going to do some fucking damage. They're just going to put them on their ass. And if they walk away from it, let alone more than one, they deserve to live. Because they earned it. Because these bullets are not going to be pretty if they hit human tissue. I'm just saying. These 185 grain 9mm bullets are insane. How hard they hit, how they flower out, and what they're made out of. I'm almost surprised that they're legal, because these flowered up like this from hitting something extremely hard. I shot at something kind of soft, recovered the bullet from that, and it would have been the closest thing to human tissue that I would have been able to find in that area. And they didn't flower up. They stayed in a solid form, almost like a armor-piercing round would do. Which is weird, because after they went through the soft clay type of soil, they hit a rock. And they barely flowered like these did. And they're the same bullets. These hit a solid boulder type rock that was in the ground. And they flowered up. The other one I shot that hit a thick layer of clay type mud and dirt went through the clay, mud, and dirt for a couple inches and then hit a rock. And that stayed in the solid bullet form, almost like a fucking armor-piercing round would. And I don't know how well the camera's picking up on shit, but you can see I don't know how well you can see this, but if you can see, there's still solid steel underneath the hollow point where it flowered out. That's supposed to flower out, but I didn't realize it literally feels like solid steel. There's lead in it, but half of this is so solid that it just has a very hard time deforming and flowering because of how hard the steel or whatever metal these are made out of. Basically what I'm trying to fucking say is these have such a hard time flowering like this because of that thick layer of steel you're seeing at the bottom of the hollow point. Because you can see it on both of them. See it right under there? It flowered out around it, but that steel underneath stayed in its form. And that's what makes it kind of work like an armor-piercing round. It hits a rock, it stays in a solid form. It hits dirt, clay, and, you know, thick soil, and then hits something solid, it stays in its solid bullet form. But it hits something solid right off the bat, and it flowers. But as you see, the very bottom where that steel is stays in its form. Very interesting rounds for a 9mm. Especially for the heaviest 9mm bullet on the market, being 185 grain hollow point. My personal opinion, great for self-defense. My favorite self-defense round, to be exact. Gotta love that flashlight. Yeah, that light don't work. This is what I mean. You see that? This? All my tests I ran on it show that it's some type of steel. It flowers because the top is lead. But part of that lead has the same steel you see right there in it, so it makes it really hard to flower, even if it hits something fucking solid. This one is fucking interesting. You see that? That is some solid fucking metal. I don't know if it's steel, but it's something more solid than lead. Because normal lead bullets would have completely fragmented on hitting something as solid as what these hit. But as you see right here, there's still solid fucking steel inside of them. See that? That didn't even fucking budge at all when it hit the solid fucking rock. And the rock didn't break, so it was a solid fucking rock, and these should have fucking fragmented and fucking flowered and broken into pieces. If they were fucking nothing but lead like most bullets, they would have. Especially because of how hard they hit. But these are definitely a very interesting 9mm bullet. These, these are 762x39mm. They hit the same exact target that these 9mm hit. And as you see, these are lead. These are nothing but lead, and they completely smashed down and flowered out. There ain't much left of the bullets for these 7.62s. But these 9mm, these 185 grain 9mm, still have a large percentage of the bullet intact. Just deformed with a little bit of what appears to be lead smashed around it. If these would have continued to push through stuff, they would have continued to penetrate because of the solid metal you see in there. A couple of them did, and that's what makes me look at them almost like an armor-piercing round, just without the extreme penetration of a normal armor-piercing round. But these two bullets, these type of bullets, still have more penetration than a normal hollow point is supposed to have.